This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
And welcome in, folks, to another edition of Open Mic Night. I am your host, Noah Taluki, and on today's episode, the Lions finally breaking through forward down the field, winning against the Minnesota Vikings 29-27 on a game-winning touchdown pass from Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll break down the game, and also, it's not going to be all celebrations in this game because there's a couple of things that I have to discuss that were not right, and we could easily be talking about another Lions loss. So I'll break that down for you as well. Also, we're gonna get to Michigan, 42-3, big winners over Iowa in the Big Ten championship. We'll break that down for you also, and then we will talk a little bit about the Orange Bowl game that Michigan will be in just a couple of weeks as well. But thank you again, folks, for listening and tuning in. I had a great weekend down in the Keys, the Florida Keys, this past weekend in Miami, and for a friend's wedding. So I was down there and getting some sun a little bit. And I'll tell you what, that water is very clear down there. It was great to swim in. It was perfect temperature too. The weather outside and the weather in the water, the temperature of the water. So, I got to go to Key West for a little bit. Didn't spend a ton of time there, probably about a half day, but that was a lot of fun to check that out. And it was just a lot of great food as well. The wedding was beautiful, right on the water. Never been to a destination wedding before, but very good to see our family friends out there and all that as well. Also, I had to take a visit back to Shula's. So, of course, I talked about it a couple months ago when I went down to Miami for the Don Shula Celebration of Life. We had Richmond Webb on the program to talk about the experience of one of his former players. If you want to go back and take a look at that episode, please do. But, I had to definitely go over there and show my parents what I experienced down there at the Shula's Resort. We got to go by the stadium as well, so it's definitely really awesome that I was able to do that and have some fun down in the Florida Keys. So I do want to start off with this Lions win, 29-27, and I was live streaming the game. I was swimming in the beach in Fort Lauderdale for a little bit. We were trying to kill some time before we boarded to Detroit at the airport, and because we flew out of Fort Lauderdale. And I'm watching this game, and I'm watching it literally in the rental car as we're going to the airport. And I'm literally outside of an elevator at the airport, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I gotta watch this drive. So I'm watching the whole drive. And Jared Goff is just finding these receivers down the field, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we can win this game. 4th and 2, let's do it. And sure enough, the Vikings, by the way, I don't know what defense they were playing, but Jared Goff was able to find the open crease in the left of the left area of the end zone, and was able to fit that ball into St. Brown, who, what better way to hit your first touchdown in the NFL than on that final play. And, the players stormed the field. The fans were going crazy. Guys, this team has every right to celebrate like that. And what they did with Dan Campbell after the game, we'll get to that a little bit later, but it just shows how much fight they have for him. And, just what a relief it was to finally win that game. You don't have to, we don't have the, the winless Lions talk, because we're not going winless anymore, or so it was definitely very exciting, and very happy to be a part of that and watch that for sure. It was I was texting Corey Schlesinger a little bit, a friend of the program, and he was telling me it's very reminiscent of when in 2001 when the Lions beat the Vikings. The Lions were winless. I believe they had an 0-12 record or something like that. Beat the Vikings, and then the next day Dennis Green was fired. Mike Zimmer not fired after this one, but interesting how both winless Lions teams are able to get their win later on in the season against the Vikings. So a little bit of shades of 2001, if you will. But early on, the Lions offense, seemed like they were, especially in that second quarter, they were clicking. I mean, they were, the tight ends got involved. TJ had a touchdown. Even they even got Matthew Wright in there with his I'm sorry, not Matthew Wright. That's an old tight end. Brock Wright, I should say. He had a touchdown as well. And they were up 26 at the half, and the defense was doing its job. They were holding the Vikings to field goals. And I was feeling pretty good after the first half, and then they kind of let Minnesota creep back in a little bit. Justin Jefferson had that touchdown. But this is the main problem I have to address. And I told you it wasn't going to be all positive today for the Lions. Dan Campbell, late in the fourth quarter, you have the lead, and you go for on a fourth down, and it's not even like a conservative run up the middle. You call a rollout with Goff, and the Vikings are just very prepared for that. As soon as Goff rolls out, they're right there, pressure in his face. And not only does Goff get sacked, he fumbles the football, and the Vikings recover, and they're basically almost in the red zone. Dan Campbell cannot keep doing these mistakes. He got bailed out this time. First time all season. But like I said in the teaser in the open, you can't have these mistakes. We were this close to talking about yet another Lions loss. This close. Thankfully, there was enough time left on the clock, and the Vikings decided to score quick. When Justin Jefferson scored, I was not. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't really worried. I says, we got plenty of time. There's plenty of time left in this game. A minute 50. We have one timeout. We're good. But now if we had Matthew Stafford, my confidence level would be very high. I still had a high confidence level, but it wasn't as high with Goff just because obviously I know Goff's mistakes, but it just does not, this win does not excuse the fact that Dan Campbell is still making the same stupid decisions. I get being gutsy. I get it, but he's been a little too aggressive in some games this season. Especially with that rollout. I mean, when I was watching that, I laughed. I said, are you kidding me? Are we going to have another game where we have the lead, everything's going right, and then we make some stupid decision which costs us the game? I laughed. I said, this team cannot figure it out. But luckily there was enough time. Luckily they went down the field. And on the final play of the game, very reminiscent to TJ Hawkinson's touchdown against Atlanta. Remember, the Lions kind of let the Falcons score. They had enough time left on the clock. Stafford drove them down the field. TJ scored the game-winning touchdown on the final play. It was a very similar game to that, in my opinion, especially the last couple drives. But man, it was scary for a little bit, but very, very, very happy that this Lions team was able to pull this out, because you just get the cloud off of you about going winless. Look, I don't care about the draft position stuff. The players play to win this game. You play to win. Okay, you're not going to go in 1 week and say to the players, "Yeah, this game doesn't matter." We don't want to win this game because we're thinking about next year and the draft position. Players don't think like that. Fans and the media think like that. Players and coaches don't think like that. They want to win every game. So if enough with this is going to ruin the Lions draft. I got people texting me saying the Lions screwed up their draft position and I hate this team. No, I don't like that take. The number one overall pick chance went to 50% or whatever. Guys, this team is still going to get a top 5 pick. Relax. Okay? Relax. I'm not in the business of tanking and wanting to lose games so that they get better draft picks. I'm not about that. You have to think of it from the player's perspective here. They don't want to lose. These players and coaches do not want to lose. That's a fan's perspective. I get how the fans are excited about a player in the draft. Guy like Thibodeau from Oregon, Aiden Hutchinson. I understand. But this was a good win for the Lions. They outplayed the Vikings. The Vikings were technically still in the playoff hunt. They probably are done now. But, Vikings had a lot more to play for. The Lions came in there at Ford Field. And finally, something broke for the Lions. Defense, even though they gave up 27 points, I still thought there were some improvements. Charles Harris getting in there on some tackles. I believe he had 2 sacks, yes. Another guy that, has played well this season for the Lions. Jerry Jacobs continues to make improvements. Alex Anzalone seems to be playing better the last couple weeks as well. Now, are all these guys all going to be here, in the next couple years? Probably not. Anzalone's probably going to be gone. But, at least it's good to see some of the younger guys making some strides, making some improvements on this team. Oh, and by the way, I do want to address one more thing about the Lions. Anthony Lynn's days in Detroit are numbered. I believe he will no longer be the offensive coordinator for this team. He's being very professional about it. Obviously Dan Campbell taking the play call duties away from him. Dan is calling the plays himself. Lynn has been professional. He said, look, I'm here to help Dan. He can have my advice, but he has not said anything about, I want the play calls back. I don't know why he did it. That he has not said any of that. It's been professional, but I just don't see this working out for the Lions. Anthony Lynn has not been a great play caller. I mean, he's calling man plays in zone coverage, zone plays in man coverage. It's just not working out. And I think some shades of the LA Chargers during his time there are starting to fall on the Lions a little bit. One candidate in mind, though, which I think could be a possible candidate for the Lions OC job next year, Joe Brady in Carolina just got let go by the Panthers. And this is a guy that, Joe Burrow in 2019 at LSU took him to new heights. Matt Rule hired him last year in Carolina, and people were saying this offense is pretty good. The record might not speak for itself, but the concepts are there. I wonder if maybe Joe Brady could be a good fit for the Lions OC job. We'll have to see. I don't want to go too far ahead, but keep your eyes out there for Joe Brady. I would love to see where he ends up. He's definitely going to get. I think he's definitely going to get another chance in the NFL. I would love to see if some of his offensive principles can help the Lions, hopefully with and maybe improve their offense. But definitely have to have players around him. That's why this upcoming draft, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's second draft in their tenure with the Lions is very, very important. But I don't want to get into too much draft talk. That'll be later on. Once the pick is settled. I have some thoughts on who they should draft, but I think really the positions of need: defensive end, quarterback, wide receiver. That'll be my little teaser for the next couple weeks. Once we get into some draft talk, that's for sure. But a big win for the Lions. Very happy for them. And I was watching Denver, of course, who the Lions play next, going to Mile High Stadium. Watching Denver on the plane, playing Kansas City, and I'm not scared of this Denver team. They need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater isn't the answer. But I don't know. I could see the Lions maybe winning that game against Denver. Denver loves to play that too high safety look, which really limits the big plays. So Patrick Mahomes, they're playing that against him. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, obviously everyone knows, they love to throw the ball downfield and really burn you with big plays. They love that too high safety look, Vic Fangio's defense, and they really, they limit those big plays. And the Lions don't really have many big play threats, so if they can maybe find some way of the short dink and dunk passes that they've had a little bit of success with this season, I could see that playing into the Lions' favor. But we'll see. I'll tell you what, that Javonte Williams for Denver is I think he's going to be good in the NFL. I mean, that guy is just taking defenders with him. Very hard-nosed runner. We'll see how durable he is, later in his career. But man, this is that they could have themselves a good running back. So the Lions will definitely have to stop Javonte Williams in that running crew for sure. But a game I think could be winnable for the Lions. And like I said, guys, I don't want you guys to start with, oh, they shouldn't win. They need a better draft pick. No. Mm-mm. They play to win this game. As Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. Lions aren't going down without a fight. Dan Campbell and company, and these guys are playing for him. If you saw the reaction after the game, the reaction in the locker room, Dan Campbell picking up Sheila, hugging everyone. It was these guys love playing for him. I'll give him that. This is not a Patricia situation. Even the winless Lions are still celebrating like that and hugging everyone. And, I could tell part of me wants the Lions to fire him, but part of me also says, you know what, maybe one more chance. Maybe one more chance to see, because the chemistry is there with player-coach relationships. It's there. Now it's just about getting players in. Because it seems like the players are buying into what he's saying. But maybe just the schematics, getting talent in there. I think Dan Campbell might need a chance at that. Now, if he does nothing with that, then we've got a problem. But if they can change up some of the schematics, get some better players in, I think eventually this possibly could work for Dan Campbell here. And once they get a better offensive coordinator as well. And that's for sure. All right, I want to talk about Michigan. Big 42-3 victory over the Hawkeyes of Iowa. Shout out to I know in Iowa they lost big, but Eric Copeland, one of our graduate assistants here at John Carroll University, the last couple years, he's a graduate assistant at Iowa now. He's one of the assistant receivers coaches. So a big shout out to Cope. And I was texting with him before that game. But unfortunately, a loss to Michigan for the Hawkeyes. But just really an all-around great effort for the Wolverines. And I got to say, I think with Michigan, first time since 2004 that they have become the Big Ten champions. And by the way, Michigan fans have every right to celebrate this. It's been a long time coming for these guys. I don't want to hear Michigan State fans talking about how arrogant Michigan is. No. Let Michigan celebrate. Michigan State, you've had your chance. You've had your chance. We'll get to I have something about one of Michigan State's players that I want to talk about in a minute because I think he got snubbed from something. But I got to say, great all-around effort. The offense was getting creative out there. You saw that Donovan Edwards touchdown pass that he threw to Wilson. Those are plays. I felt like Michigan was just kind of toying with Iowa, for a little bit. And Haskins. It wasn't in the beauty about it too is that when Haskins was kind of struggling there in the first half, they had other guys like Corum with his big play. AJ Henning had a nice run. It's like they had other guys that stepped up. Even when Haskins, was struggling there. I mean, Haskins' longest carry was 11 yards. I mean, he only averaged just over 3 yards a carry. Very, very low for him. But, that's good teams. They're able to adjust. When Haskins is struggling, they're able to get other guys in the mix. And they have sort of a creative offense when it needs to be. So, credit to Josh Gaddis and the staff there for Michigan. Just an overall really, really good, good season, and really they gotta play well against Georgia. It's gonna be big, because Iowa is no Georgia. These Bulldogs, especially after losing to Alabama in the SEC championship, these guys, Georgia's gonna be hungry. They're gonna want a rematch with Alabama, assuming Alabama beats Cincinnati, which they should. And I think the nation wants to see Alabama and Georgia again in the national championship. How crazy would that be? That could be a game for the ages right there. But I gotta say, I think Michigan overall, I really think they just need to be themselves. They got to be themselves. They're not going to throw the ball 40, 50 times. It's keep it on the ground, adjust if necessary, get creative. And I'm not saying not throw it all, but mix it up a little bit. I like how they're using both quarterbacks in certain situations. Cade McNamara and then, putting J.J. McCarthy in. I like that. I really think sometimes it keeps the defense off guard. McCarthy, he there's times where he can throw some dimes. So I think that 2-quarterback system a little bit for Michigan can play into Michigan's favor. Now Georgia, with their great defense, before the Alabama game, I believe they were only giving up like 6 points a game. This is definitely one of the probably the best defense in all of college football. So, but running that foot, it's going to be interesting to see how well Michigan can run, because, of course, Georgia has Jordan Davis, big 6'5", 340-pound nose tackle, who's a real run stuffer, just a big body that we'll see how, because Michigan's offensive line has played really well the last couple weeks, and we're going to see if they get a big push on Jordan Davis, if they're able to neutralize him, because I'll tell you what, Jordan Davis was gassed. Davis does not have a pass rush either. He was getting gassed. He can only be used really in certain situations before he's got to get pulled off the field because of how tired he is. So I think if they can really neutralize Jordan Davis, they're going to have some creases in the run game. But they got to get up to those linebackers too, because those Georgia linebackers are some of the best in the nation for sure. But if Michigan can just stay who they are, I think they have a chance at beating Georgia, because I think Michigan's defense can neutralize Georgia's offense. I'm not really that scared of any offensive players on Georgia. I'm not really scared of that quarterback. I don't think that quarterback is really that good. So I think Michigan, like in the past, when we saw Michigan State in the 2015 college football playoff, I didn't really think that they had much of a chance against Alabama. Now, with this Michigan team in, I think that they have a little bit more of a shot than that 2015 Michigan State team. I think they have more of a shot to beat Georgia, and then assuming Bama takes care of business against Cincinnati, have that matchup with Bama and Michigan. I just feel a little more confident about this Michigan team than I did with Michigan State. Michigan's got the 2. MSU is the 4. MSU is really the only Michigan team we can compare them to, because they're the only other team that's made it to the college football playoff. So it'll be interesting to see how Michigan is going to match up with Georgia. Right now, out of the gate, I think Michigan is going to win. I think, like I said, if they can neutralize Jordan Davis, free up those, get up to the linebackers, I think they'll be able to win. But I think it's gonna be a dog fight. No pun intended. DAWG. But I don't know. I just see Michigan winning this game. We know Alabama's lethal with their passing game and all that. It was really on full display, and I think Bryce Young for the Crimson Tide is going to win the Heisman. I want to talk a little bit about the Heisman as well. We talked about it a little bit earlier. One Michigan State player, Kenneth Walker, is not in the Heisman race. He is not one of the finalists. Aiden Hutchinson. It was Aiden Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young will win it, but I think Aiden Hutchinson very well deserved. I mean, he's just really elevated his game the past couple weeks, and his draft stock has drastically improved as well. So I see Bryce Young winning, but Kenneth Walker, he should have been in. I think they needed a running back in there, best running back in the country. I think this might motivate him to stay. They, of course, Michigan State will be playing Pittsburgh in the Peach Bowl, New Year's Six Bowl, and in Atlanta. So I think I really hope this motivates him. I bet. By the way, I bet Michigan State beats Pitt, but I think he's the best Power 5 running back in the country, and he definitely should have been one of the 4. I would put Walker over Kenny Pickett. That's just my opinion, but I think a lot of it had to do with team performance as well. I mean, Pitt won the ACC. I mean, like I said though, I think Michigan State is going to handle Pitt, but I don't know. I don't think it matters in the end, but I think Kenneth Walker deserved to be in the Heisman conversation. No question about that. That's for sure. All right, well, make sure to check out all the other content on the podcast network. Doc and Jock, one of the best podcasts around. They do a great job, as always, John Macaron and Adam the Jock Strozinski. And make sure to check out Michigan podcast as well. I'm sure Steve Dace and company are going to have a lot of great stuff to say. And I'm really curious to see what Mark Rogers has to say as well. His Buckeyes are not going to, they didn't win the Big Ten this year. They're going to at least be in the Rose Bowl. Not that the Rose Bowl means much anymore, but still a tradition game for sure. Practice Squad, always a great podcast, and the Fan Report talking about those Pistons. How about the Pistons giving up 42 points in the fourth quarter against the Thunder and losing that and blowing a fourth quarter lead? Unbelievable. That I don't know what's going on with that Pistons team, but I'm sure they're furious right now at what's happening with their Pistons. Can't wait for next week, folks, and should be a great episode, and hopefully everybody has a great week. And thanks again for listening, and make sure to tune in next week only on Open Mic Night.